one of them has to go off. Is that better?
I got to figure out how to turn the other thing off.
Are you on your phone or are you on your computer, Mr. Patton?
No, I'm just on my computer, but I might have two windows open.
Yeah, that's why you're echoing. Just close out one. And
yeah, I'll do that.
And thank you for being here. I appreciate it. All right. Well, as promised, let's get started. I want to thank you all so much for being here tonight. This is our first Transforming Communities meeting for 2021, our meeting as Councilman in District 8, as well as Legislative 26th District. I also do want to mention that it's a special day as well, because on this day, 24 years ago, Delegate Jay Walker and I got married. So this is special. We're actually spending our anniversary with you. Happy to do so.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. God is good.
Happy anniversary, babe.
Thank you. Happy anniversary, sweetie. I'm actually going to toss this to Delegate Jay Walker and let him start. We'll start with the state level.
Hello and good evening, everybody. Good to see some faces. It's been too long. Hopefully we'll be able to get together soon and see you in person and do our normal town halls like we normally do, to stay in touch with the community and to keep everybody informed of what's going on in Annapolis. I want to start off by thanking everybody for the support and their prayers, and hopefully everybody's being safe. We're not out of this yet, although we're turning the corner. Let's continue to do our part here in the 26th district to make it as safe for everybody as we can possibly. There'll be a couple issues, a couple ground rules I'd like to lay down. If you can, any type of question you have, or if there's a particular comment you want us to address, you can put it in the chat room. My aide, Renee Harris, who's on here, Renee is jotting it down. She'll be checking that so we can touch on topics that we may not. I don't like the way my virtual background is doing me, so I'm just gonna take it off. Give me one quick second. And we will proceed. So we'll talk about the different questions, everything that we had. In a particular topic, I'll tell you what I know about it. We've got a wonderful lineup of people that can answer and get you answers for things that you need. First, start off Annapolis. A lot of people want to know how was Annapolis last session. It was different. First time ever, we were not able to all meet, all 140 delegates. We had to use two different chambers, two different rooms. We could only meet for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and then we had to move on. No in-person meetings for our hearings. Many of y'all may know I'm now on Economic Matters. Economic Matters, we handle a lot of utility regulation, a lot of policy. We're dealing with energy regulation, insurance, things of that nature. So I had to learn some new subject matter, which has been interesting to say the least, particularly now. One of the big things we really fought for was to make sure that the grants that the small businesses needed in the state of Maryland to stay open, to sustain what they were doing so they wouldn't be hit so hard by a pandemic. And I want to say, I think our state did a really good job on that one. Where credit is due, I think Governor Hogan did a good job of getting ahead of it and making sure that folks in Maryland did not struggle like we've heard about some of the horror stories from some of the other states. We want to make sure we have the unemployment insurance taken care of. Now, since then, there's been some talk that Governor Hogan's not going to sign the bill we did to increase the unemployment benefits. So that's where we'll come together, and I'm sure that'll be the first item of business we'll do, will be a veto override of that. Sports book betting was a big one as well. We're still working on the fine print with sports book betting. We took it to the people. I told everybody there that's for us to decide if we wanted to expand gaming in some form or fashion. Coming out of that, I think what the decision was between the House and the Senate is that you'll have sportsbook betting locations, not only at the racetracks, you'll also have it at the casinos. You'll also have some opportunities for standalone businesses, those businesses that are restaurants and some diners. If they have the size and capacity, they will be eligible to apply for a license. Sportsbook betting, what is that? If you may not know, that's when you go to Vegas, say I want to bet on the Wizards versus the Nets, and there's a line there. Pretty soon you'll be able to do it on your telephone, and it's a growing business there, and it's more revenue, and people are doing it right now. You cannot do it in Maryland, so you probably see the commercials that say like bet MGM DC or in Virginia, but we're opening it up for Maryland very, very soon. 210, it's been a long time coming, and man, the overpass, we thought this was going to be done in 2018, but now it's 2021, and I think it's working. I'd like to hear from you guys on that one. The traffic pattern seems to help out a lot. The steady flow with the overpass. What's next is we've got money that we've been putting into the account to start forward funding the next overpass when that will occur. So we will hopefully keep it going. That's one overpass, but as you all know, and I've told you many times before, we got 4 more we need to do. But I think the one is a big start, and they still have to remove the light at Wilson Bridge Drive. So I think once that light from Wilson Bridge Drive is removed, then the overpass will become more effective, and we'll see how much it goes. Speed cameras on 210. I know there was debate on that, how many more we have. And that's something I like to hear from you all on. I know we've got a group down here that is in full support of speed cameras. They really enlightened my eyes to a lot of things on it. I've told many people I was not a big fan of speed cameras going into it. However, one thing you can say about speed cameras, they do make people slow down. And until we can make 210 one of the safest highways out there, we're going to look at steps to monitor. And now we have data to actually show how many citations have been issued. And so we will continue to monitor that and encourage everybody to slow down. 2 bills that I passed. One of the bills I passed this year was the Innovative Sports Fund. And what does that mean? It's kind of just saying having, with our Park and Recs department that we have in Prince George's County, they do a good job, but we got to stay ahead of the curve and not behind. So what we need to do is the Innovative Sports Fund is saying we got a sport called pickleball. Anybody know what pickleball is? If you ever played pickleball, it's a new game that a lot of people like to play, and we don't have a lot of pickleball in Prince George's County. They've got a lot of them in Montgomery County and Howard County. So if we got pickleball, we want to do drone racing. We want to have lacrosse walls. So we want to do things like skate parks. So the Innovative Sports Fund, what it does is it actually earmarks money from the park and planning budget every year to think outside the box, ahead of the curve, so we're not late behind. And you got some people that don't want to go to the park, play football, basketball, baseball. So give them an opportunity. Well, what do you like to do? Do you want to have music? Do we need to have dancing class? So I thought that was a good one there. And so that said, you all know I like to go rapid fire. I'll take some questions. I saw a couple comments there. And also want to say we got the school marquees. Remember, you're starting to see the school marquees show up around our district. A lot of that came from some of the gaming money we got early on in the district. And I want to thank my beautiful wife and her office for kindly finalizing that. We were trying to get these signs done for a long time, but now we're starting to see them pop up because the councilwoman's office has really kept the pressure on to do that. With that said, I'm going to open it up. And,
Want some feedback, Delegate Walker? Okay.
Yes, and I'll listen to Renee now.
Okay, so most of the questions that I see popping up about the giant on Livingston Road, I know that you were thinking about speaking on that, so that definitely has come up in the chat. I see someone, actually Miss Gloria Posey from Charles County, she actually is familiar with pickleball. So somebody out there within over 100 people are familiar with the pickleball, so that's good. And let's see, Robin S is asking, what is the process to decrease the speed limit on 210?
Ooh, to decrease the speed limit on 210. I don't know if there's an appetite to decrease it, but I will listen to everybody. I believe the speed limit on 210 is it 50 in some parts and 55 others?
That's right.
That would be something I don't know if there's a real appetite to decrease speed limit on it. I mean, it's a highway there, but I know we've got some people that have my ear, and if that's something that folks are interested in and makes sense to do, then obviously it's something we would entertain. But haven't heard that one.
Okay.
Regarding the giant shopping center, I know that Monique is going to have comments on that as well. And I want to say this, and then we'll let her team talk about it if she wants to talk now. Is I want to give credit to the developer of that shopping center. I remember Monique said when she met with them and there was a virtual meeting, and everybody wanted a different store. We want to have the Trader Joe's, or we want to have the fresh Whole Foods and everything else. And he was honest. And I think a lot of times what you have to do is say, if folks are honest about it, you have to appreciate that. And he told everybody, there's going to be a Giant going back there, and it's going to be a nice Giant, and we're going to renovate it and improve it. But it is going to be a Giant there. And the other stores that are going in there, I think Monique may know a little bit more about it, or we need to have a follow-up with him. But I know a lot of people are glad that there's something finally done. I don't have a lot to add on that one, except that, he's got an investment, he's got his money in there, and he wants to do well, make it nice and upscale.
Okay. Another question. I'm sorry.
One sec, Monique, you want to add anything right now on that, or wait?
You know what? Why don't we address the Giant issue now, since it's been brought up, and I know people are really here to hear some of that as well. I will let you know we invited Giant Corporation to come and speak on what their plans are for that particular site. Now, we do know Giant does not own; they're not the developer of that site. They're not here today. We're hoping we can continue to work with them to get them here. I will say that the developer of Velocity, Brandon Bellamy, has been responsive. Obviously, we met with him several months ago, and he came and spoke about the purchase and future development. We're eager to get him back. We had hoped we'd be able to get him back for tonight. He's not able to be here tonight. But what we really are focused on is getting direct information from the developer and from Giant and no one else. And that is because we don't want there to be any miscommunication and what our understanding is and what their desire is. So I think that, unfortunately, that's all that I have with regard to that. I will say that we have been noticing that there's a desire for more lighting in that area. It's fairly dark. So as we continue to work with the developer, we definitely want to make sure that we have that. We have asked, as part of the development of the Henson Creek area, for that area, that streetscape to change so that the sidewalks are much more modernized, not concrete, but pervious paver and with rain gardens in them as well. But I think that at this point is all that I can really say. That's all that we know as fact. And I'll toss it back to you.
Sure. And looking at some of the other comments regarding the 210, it's not gone unnoticed to me that we still need to make it where pedestrians can cross 210. So there is one of the things we talked about was with the new speed cameras coming out, allowing some of that money to go towards public safety along 210. Because in Annapolis, I don't think they understand, but I would hate to be relying upon crossing 210 at all as a citizen, just walking across. So that is on the radar to get something done there. Overpasses, long-term solution, they are walk friendly, but we've got to take care of these other intersections that we have. And so I'm going to keep working on that. I'm going to keep working on that one. That is clearly in our radar and something that needs to be addressed right away. I know for the cleanup of 210, and I like the ideas. If I want to address your idea there, we'll talk about it. I know we're going to talk about some of the cleanup on 210 and things of that nature. We already talked about the speed limit there. So with that being said, I'm still going to ask Renee.
Yes. So something that I saw in here, something that's different from Miss Gloria Talaferro, she said, please consider a roller skating rink at the location where the Y used to be. So that's something I've not heard that one.
Man, those folks at Crystal State go off. You open up another roller skating. but no, roller skating has a group of folks that do it. That is that's a little bit more local, not on my side in terms of developments that way. And I do like your comment that that you have to go to Charles County to play pickleball because we don't have here in Prince George County. That lets me know we did the right thing with establishing that there. Mr. St. Cyr, of course, is always going to ask me about Metro Rail across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. Zena, we've been down this road a lot, together. My goal was, hey, I'm not giving up on giving Metro over the Wilson Bridge. And we talked about buses there, and it's like, you almost get mad. Like if we would have just put anything towards doing it, towards funding for it, when you've got this $6 trillion package coming, then it would say, oh, this is an item, and the federal government comes to pay for it right away. But it's still, I don't have how to answer. We know Mr. Peterson, many of y'all probably know Milt Peterson, who developed National Harbor. passed away recently. That was, the one thing he always regretted, not being able to connect that to a steady source of public transportation, whether it was the buses or the metro. And I know Monique and I, we have to connect them. And that's the last piece that's really, really missing from that national harbor before it becomes the absolute economic engine of the whole region. What are your thoughts? If we can unmute Zeno, what do you think about, because Monique and I have talked about it, what do you think at this point now, should we accept just trying to get bus transportation over the bridge?
Well, I think certainly getting the bus transportation is a good interim step, because at best, if everything goes right, and with plans like this, they rarely ever go exactly as planned. Getting Metro Rail in place is a 7 to 10 year project. That's if everything goes right. So as an interim step, certainly getting dedicated bus lines in place would be good, but the ultimate goal would be to get that Metro Rail brought across, the yellow line extended across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, and then connecting with the green line at Branch Avenue. My question was, with all the talk about the president's infrastructure plan that now some Republicans have signed on to, what is the likelihood of you guys at the federal level making sure that there's money in that infrastructure plan for Maryland and for Prince George's County in particular to get that Metro Rail extended across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge? The plans have already been developed. It's just a matter of getting the money to do it.
Yeah, no, I reached out to Steny Hoyer's office, talk about it. And one of the things, for the first time, people don't know, for the first time in a long time, they're putting some port projects in the federal government. So Congress folks can go around and say, I got a project in my district I need some funding from the federal government, and they're doing that. So it's there. Was there a lot of excitement behind it? Not really, just to be honest, but we'll keep trying with that. We'll keep trying with that. And good to know, I still believe the long-term solution is to have the Metro over the Wilson Bridge, what we're missing. Regarding, Renee, are there any other topics I need to address?
Sure. There are plenty all over the place. I'm just trying to pick out some things that are a little bit different from things that you've spoken about a lot before. This particular one, it says, are we at some point looking at bike trails in the southern part of Prince George's County? They live in Fort Washington. Want to know what type of upgrades or improvements will be made at Henson Creek Trail?
Sure. I know that Monique actually went on a ride along the bike to do that. And I've known about it for a while, and lighting and making it a little bit safer. Monique, would you like to, Monique, if I get your attention for a minute, for the bike trails, what came out of the final conversation for the bike trails when you went into, and when you toured the bike trails? What was the final result? What are we doing for that? I know we're talking about some infrastructure
I'm
improvement.
actually going to let Bob Patton speak to that. Bob, are you available?
Yes, I am.
A little bit out of order, but we'll go ahead, and since it's come up.
Well, I was just about to say that I'm going to have to jump off soon if there are any questions about trails, and boom, there it came up. I didn't even get to hit send on my chat. So Monique, what I understand is that you were able to put a significant amount of money in our capital budget to address the problems on the Henson Creek Trail.
How much money did we put in, Bob?
$1 million is what I was told at our recent briefing. And that's the problems on the Henson Creek Trail are complex because the stream is moving with the heavy flows of flooding. And that's a natural thing for streams to do. The flows of flooding are a combination of our development pattern and how we deal with stormwater and the issue of climate change. But it's a floodplain that the trail is built in. The trail was built on top of a WSSC sewer project. Everybody really appreciates the sewer pipes when they're sloped downhill and the sewage ends up where it's supposed to be at the sewage treatment plant. But that also means that the trail slightly sloped and is in the floodplain. So we need to have a holistic reexamination of that trail in that corridor, and look at what we can do to shore up the stream channel in appropriate ways, and where we might be able to locate the trail in locations where it won't get washed out as much, as often, hopefully, not at all. But of course, the highlands next to the stream valley have forest in them. But it would be good if we could locate the trail in a different part of the stream valley, but still in the stream valley, and still have it be a recreational and transportation trail. There's been some study in the past of extending the trail a little bit into the Broad Creek Historic District. I think that would be a really interesting and kind of exciting thing to do. And then Monique showed us about the importance of connecting the trail to the redevelopment of that section of Livingston between Oxon Hill Run and 210, which is kind of a commercial downtown where the Giant is going to be a party in the redevelopment, and that would be a really good thing. And that's the kind of redevelopment that the Parks Department wants to be a part of and play a role in, where we can combine greenways and trails with sustainable urban development. And so we want to hang on to that possibility, and in fact, maybe some of the money that's set aside can go towards that kind of connection. So that's kind of the status of that trail. We're actually making some very good progress on the Oxon Run Trail, which goes back and forth from Maryland to the district and back to Maryland. And so the National Park Service is underway at rehabilitating the Oxon Cove Trail. And we have funding set aside, and we'll arrange permission with the Park Service to rehabilitate part of that trail in Forest Heights and build a bridge across the side stream and make it so that people don't have to push their strollers right through the stream in order to get to the shopping center. We're also, the planning department has started a project to look at the Oxon Run connection further up Southern Avenue toward the northeast, because that trail ends in the district a little ways from Southern Avenue. And so we're going to look at how it could connect to the metro station and how it could connect to Naylor Road and the Hillcrest Heights Community Center and come into Prince George's County. And the Park Service has also been looking at the potential for a trail along the Suitland Parkway. And there's a lot of really challenging environmental and safety issues there, but the one part of that corridor that's like a no-brainer is to continue the Suitland Parkway Trail from the dead end under the Southern Avenue Bridge down to Naylor Road, and make the crossings of those big roads safe and get people into the metro station at Naylor Road. So we're, we have projects funded, and we're focusing on trying to improve those trails. There's also the Piscataway Creek is an area where Parks owns a lot of land, but again, it's in a stream valley, and our regulations statewide and in the county make building a paved trail in a stream valley very expensive and challenging. But we've had a University of Maryland class do an initial kind of concept study, and we're doing a master plan at Cosca Regional Park, which borders Piscataway Creek. And so I've been looking at how we can establish some segments of trail that we might start with for that Piscataway Creek corridor.
Mr. Pat, can I ask you a question really fast? Does part of the bike trail go between, is that the Silesia corridor? Is that considered part of the bike trail? So if I'm in Fort Washington, let's say I'm in the Tantalum area, and I want to go to, let's say,
You're in the which area?
excuse me?
Which area are you in Fort Washington?
I'm saying if I'm in Fort Washington, like the Tantalum area, and I want to go towards, let's say National Harbor. If I want to go towards National Harbor, do I have to go down through Silesia? Is that considered the bike trail to get somebody from Fort Washington to National Harbor, River Bend, those areas?
I'm not sure what the geographic reference that I'm not familiar with the geographic references of Silesia,
So,
but
okay.
the National Harbor
Okay.
in their development plan.
I'm not really, sorry, I don't want to cut you. We're a little short on time. I'm not saying
Okay.
as example going that direction. So the Silesia area is going from Fort Washington Road, and it runs parallel. What's the street I'm thinking of? Is that
Livingston Road.
Livingston Road between Fort Washington Road and, is that Old Fort Road?
Yes. So on your way to,
Yes.
if you're on River
On the way to the Giant that you talked about, the Giant
or
shop.
the fort itself, looking for a connection from the actual fort.
Someone just said it's
River
the
Road, which is the waterfront area, around Harmony Hall.
Potomac Heritage Trail is what one of our constituents called it.
Yeah. From my understanding of the area, I probably don't know it as well as you all do, but the south edge of National Harbor has no public entrances, so you have to go along Oxon Hill Road all the way up to the top of the hill, to the top where MGM is and where we start the Woodrow Wilson Bridge Trail, and then you have to go down the hill and all the way to the river and then go into National Harbor. That's the only way that National Harbor has allowed any kind of public access into their development.
So thank you for Mr. Dion Buffalo helping out. So is the Potomac Heritage Trail, is that part, who controls that trail?
Well, that's a scenic trail that the National Park Service designates, but it's a compilation, it's an overlay, it's a compilation of any physical trails that communities develop. In Fort Washington, one of my predecessors, Fred Schaefer, developed a signed bike route on roadways. We don't have a clear supported park corridor that can support the Potomac Heritage Trail in any long distance section. Part of it's because of the bluffs, and part of it has been resistance among some property owners. So the first effort for that was an on-road signed route, and the trail across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge is a part of the Potomac Heritage Scenic Trail, but it's much less of a continuous trail with a standard cross section, a standard kind of condition. It's just an overlay that's about the scenic value, the historic properties and historic history and heritage of the Potomac River corridor.
Thank you. I'll go, Renee, you want to grab a couple questions, and I'm going to turn it over and let Monique.
Sure. One of the things, I'm sorry, going back to 210, a couple of people have chimed in regards to understanding that you can't decrease the speed limit or anything like that. That's not something that's on the table. But one thing is maybe changing the culture of the drivers by increasing or making the fines a little stricter. Has that been something that has been discussed at any point, or what can be done about that?
Wait, who sent me that question?
Well, you probably know who one of them is.
I'm sure I know where it is.
But then somebody else did chime in, so that's why I brought it up.
Well, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm getting there. I'm working with you. I always tell everybody, let's not forget we had such a fight to get one speed camera, and then, we went from 1 to now they say they want 5. But see, it's funny. We need the people that kind of follow the speed limit or get the tickets per se. See, I get the email saying, "Why are you charging us so much? Why are we getting hit with these speed camera fines?" Right? Like, no, I always tell them, if you drive speed limit, don't worry about it. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Even though, so it's kind of, I'm towing that fine line between safety, and safety first and foremost, but also not just becoming a revenue source. Those speed cameras in Washington D.C. are very profitable, and it's and we're sensitive to that. But there's a trend going, so that'll be one. The penalty phase of it is that was a little bit complicated. So
how many more you want?
The rule 4 speed cameras are, except for the ones we have on 210 that we were the first location in the state to get a speed camera that was not in a construction or school zone. Right. I said I was 100% for it. Let's make 210 safe. Let's make 210 safe. But I said it, I'm on record. I'm not no big speed camera fan. So that's my position there, but I will support my constituents in terms of the safety aspect and working so that we can all have it where it's not, my fear is to be like Montgomery County. Montgomery County will ticket you everywhere you go. I mean, there's a ticket on every corner and I hear about it. And so that's kind of how I feel about that.
How many more, Delegate Walker?
I'll take one more than Monique. I know Monique needs more time than me. So
okay. So the last one, a couple of constituents spoke about the K-8 school groundbreaking that's coming up. Wanted to know if you guys will be supporting it and if there's any consideration about changing it, things of that sort. But I think things are kind of in motion. But
I would love for folks in the chat room to say whether or not they're in support or not support of it. That is something, my job is mostly like school construction money, giving the county the ability to school construction. That's a school board decision there. I'm not on school board, and you've heard me say it every town hall we've ever hosted. One of the most important votes you have is going to be your school board vote. And for that to happen, with it, me as a person that fights so hard for education funding, it's tough for me to say I'm not in favor of giving the students down here a brand new school, K-8, a brand new school. There's a location where we need to be and stuff like that. I don't know, but I know that the new school, when I first got in office, the new school we had was 65 years old. It was 65, and then we got a brand new Oxon Hill High School, which was a fight to get that. So we got an Oxon Hill High School. Okay, I don't want to stop. Just because our enrollment numbers may be smaller, I believe our children deserve the best of the best. So I'll always fight for that. And I don't want them to build a lot of schools around the rest of the state and we still have schools that are 50, 60 years old. That's my personal opinion. And I'm also sensitive to, my wife is very sensitive to it. We talk about it all in terms of, it's not good science to build it on a place that's not safe. If it is a floodplain, why would you do that? But then on the other side, they say that what they're going to do, they're going to increase they're going to help create a flooding solution to that. So that is a tough one there. And I like when people are asking about it and weighing in with their opinion, yes or no. Yes or no says, yes, I support the school. No, I don't. Because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to hear from you all and to lead that there. And that's the way I've always governed my way. So
most of it seems to be, Delegate Walker, that they may support it, but some of them, like if they don't support it, it's because they don't support the location.
I got it. I absolutely get it. And that's tough. I mean, that school was almost going to be a school probably 15, 16 years ago. That was going to be a high school at the time. They were going to call it a Tantalum High School once upon a time, not too long ago, probably 15, 16 years ago. I am sensitive to that. Because I would say this, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know anybody that would vote or anybody that would like to have a school right across the street from them. And I don't know many folks that, I get it. You move into a neighborhood, you think it's going to be that way. And then it's like, so I get it. I completely get it. I understand it. But both sides of the argument. However, that property is owned by the county. It was zoned for school years ago. I think all I can try to do is if they're going to do it, and we can't stop, we got to make sure they do it right. That's the basis of the best I can do with the position that I hold there. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Colbert. Do you have a question for me? Can you put it in the chat?
That's what I just put in there. I just asked her
Okay.
to put it in there. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'll still be looking at the chat, whatever. But fortunately for you all, you're done with me, and you get to deal with my much, much, much better half right now, Monique and her wonderful team. I want to thank my aide, Miss Renee, for helping me get through this as well. And I appreciate you all as always, and look forward to doing this in person so we can get the vote machines out and I can really hear from y'all. Take care.
Well, thank you, everyone. We're going to advance to a slide. We put some slides together to kind of help us through the agenda. So we're looking to reconnect, obviously, because it has been a while. We're hoping that this will be informative. We expect that it will be, and that you learn, and we learn through this process. We can go to the next slide. We just had the Let's Talk About It with Delegate Jay Walker, and we're going to get a public safety update. Is Corporal Ebony McLaughlin and Corporal Raniker, are they available to give us an update?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, this is Corporal McLaughlin from District 4. Basically, I'm just representing, our district, and our captain and major just wanted to let you all know about our District 4 Summer Crime Initiative Operation Plan. And they're going to start in July 1st through September 1st. We're going to start in these areas in Glass Manor, Hillcrest Heights, Marlow Heights, Southview, Dallas Drive, Pohanka Place, Branch Avenue, Curtis Drive, Oxon Hill Road, St. Barnabas Road, and Bach Road area. Those are our main hotspots. Those 6 areas has experienced a high density of violent crime, specifically like homicide, shootings, carjacks, and robberies. So
Thank you. My window got shot through. I'm sorry. I live in Glass Manor. I'm a Howard alum. I'm a nurse. I work in the hospital. My window got shot through. I'm always picking up trash on 210. I voted for Jay Walker. I believe in what you guys are doing, but I feel like Glass Manor is overlooked. I work hard and I come home from work. My window was shot through. My son was laying in the bed. He could have been killed. This is like every week we have shootings on our street.
And I definitely understand that. And our major is, and our captain are working hard. These are going to be our main hotspots for the rest of the summer, and hopefully we can get crime down. Right now, our carjackings are actually down 75% from the last 2 months. We still have a high percentage of theft, and we always encourage everyone to make sure that you're not having don't have any valuables in the vehicle. People will steal anything. Right now, the big trend is they are stealing the handicap placards and things like that, because a lot of times I don't think, and I'm not sure, but from different citizens, they complain about in DC, they're using their handicap placards because a lot of them still can hang them on the front mirror. So we having a lot of thefts, and sometimes people, they're breaking your car just for no reason. They might think something expensive, glasses, anything. So we always try to tell people when we have our community meetings, make sure you don't have anything visible. But as far as, ma'am, you talking about Glass Manor, our major is aware of it, and we're going to try to saturate the area even more this summer, even with overtime and everything, to get more officers out on the street. But I'm open for any questions. That's all I have to report at this time.
If you're open for questions, ma'am, I want to know, like, what exactly is the plan? What are they doing? I know that you guys want to generate some type of revenue, maybe put some speed bumps here, some cameras, and something. This is a residential neighborhood, and they're going way beyond 50 miles an hour. They race up and down the street. We have children all around this area. We've had 2 kids, and I have police reports, so I have proof. So I'm going to try to take it a step further. Me and my friends, we go up and down 210. They left furniture out there, mattresses. They throw big liquor bottles out all the time. And they do that when they go up and down Deal Drive. Something has to be done. because we've had a child be hit by a car. We've had my window get shot through. We've had these different problems, and they're really, I mean, these are like different separate incidents, but they always happen every week. We have an accident. We have glass out there right now. If you come through, we have window glass of a door car right on Marcy Avenue. If you come through, you will see it. The whole car, half of the car to a door, just laying in the middle of the road. So me and the neighbors, we walk around, we pick up this trash because we voted for you guys. We want to keep PG gorgeous. That's why we voted for you guys, because we believe in you guys that you're going to get it done. But Glass Manor is neglected. And it's an area that's close to VA, Maryland, right across the street from DC. It should be taken care of like any other area, like all these other areas, Annapolis or Fort Washington, but it's completely ignored. Anytime you have shootings and people rushing and driving and racing, literally racing up down the street. Every week we have a shooting on our street. We had a couple of cars that are out here now, they have bullet holes in them. We're walking out here with our children, picking up bags and bags of liquor bottles and trash. I mean, when is it going to stop?
Man, I absolutely, and want to say, not ignore at all. I would say that not ignore at all. But I do like what you said, and the approach is, and we've got Ms. Corporal McLaughlin there. I'm about solutions. No people know me. Let's figure out a way to get a solution to what we got an issue there. Can we send? They've got speed in there. We know it's a long process to get speed bumps and things of that nature. And can we police the neighborhood a little bit? Can we over police it a little bit? Not over police it, but can we police the neighborhood and make sure that we've got enough security down there to see what's going on?
Yes, most definitely. That's when I explained the plan that we're actually having another meeting next Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
I'm courteous. I'm courteous. Can we let her finish, please? And then I'm sorry, Corporal McLaughlin.
My apologies if I cut anyone off. I was just letting you know, and we're having another meeting with our supervisors. The plan is supposed to start tomorrow. So, ma'am, if I can get your name and contact number, if you want to put it in the chat, we can, yes. And I'll definitely keep in contact with you. And I do want you to see the positive things that we're going to be doing. And I want you to be happy. I want the whole community to be happy, honestly. But I want you to be able to see the difference when we saturate the area, because that's our plan. Our commanders, they see what's going on. Unfortunately, we can't be everywhere every second, but we try. All we can do is try and get better and do better. So I would like to get in contact with you. Well, I can give you actually anyone who wants to. My contact number is 240-655-7477. I'm one of the community policing officers for District 4.
Can you that number again, please? 240.
240-695-7477. And again, ma'am, I do understand your frustration. I really do.
I do. I apologize. I try to contain my emotional, but I'm just so emotional about it because we had a child get hit by a car. They're like speeding up and down. And by the way, Ms. J. Walker and your lovely wife, I would like to thank you guys for giving my daughter a scholarship so I know you guys are like really invested in us, but this area is like, it's, I'm so emotional. After my window got shot through, basically, and then the child got hit by a car. Here's the bullet hole right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I fixed the glass, but it went through my whatever this is.
That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's can you email when you talk to Corporal McLaughlin, can you also send my office an email? For those people, I meant to give it earlier. I'll put it in the chat as well. delegatewalker@gmail.com.
I shared it, Delegate Walker.
Gmail.com. Okay. And when we talk about areas like Glass Manor, Forest Heights, Hillcrest Heights, my wife and I, we feel those are gold mines. Those are diamonds.
I agree. I own a home here. Sorry to be unacceptable, but I think that's subjective. I'm upset. Like I said, my son almost got shot. Thank you.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And you can you put Glass Manor homeowner? I don't know your name. Would you mind sending your name and information to me, Gina Anderson Ford, for the councilwoman?
Okay.
That would be great. Thank you.
Delegate, if I may. Ma'am, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Major Allaire. I'm the commander of the Oxnard District that oversees Glass Manor. We have been putting a lot of effort into Eastover Shopping Center, 210, as well as Glass Manor. Just so everybody's aware, Forest Heights annexed 210, the road 210 from, I believe, the DC line up to the Beltway. So we as the Prince George County Police don't have the jurisdiction there. We share it, but Forest Heights has annexed that. But you know, the problem with the dollar store across the street, Glass Manor, people hanging out, that is one of our hotspots this summer. We have added overtime units specifically just in that area. We are patrolling. There are officers that work part-time up there, so we're coordinating with them and the security. So I understand your frustration, and I just want to personally reach out. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat as well if you want to send me an email personally. We are trying to clean up that area.
Delegate Walker, my name is Louise Vaughn, and I live in the Skyline Hills development, and we don't have exactly the same issues as Glass Manor does, but we do have issues because where we are is right off of Suitland Road near almost near Andrews Air Force Base. And because there's a large opening that's kind of wooded on one side and it's a knoll on the other, we have people who don't live in this area who come there and they just sit there, they throw their trash all over the place. I've actually witnessed drug transactions because I'm from New York, so I know what they look like. And we have people dump, we've had toilets dumped there, we've had furniture dumped there, and there's only about 4 of us that get out there and clean that area up. And we've actually had, like you're having the problems now with the people doing the donuts and stuff. We've had that in our development. Now, if you don't live in our development, you don't know that it's dangerous because it's wide, then it gets narrow, then it gets wide. We asked for speed bumps. We were told that we had a sign that said 25 miles an hour, like whoopee-doo, and that they only went 9 miles over the speed limit. However, a car ended up in my driveway, not my driveway, I'm sorry, in my yard, because the car was speeding through there. And when I asked, well, who's gonna be responsible for fixing it? And they were like, that's the homeowner's responsibility. But it's getting so bad. It's like we are constantly picking up trash there. And it got even worse when, without us knowing it, they put a CBD store right there at the corner and we didn't know anything about it. So you actually see people come pull in their park, they get out their cars and they walk over to the CBD place.
Miss Vaughn, this is Major O'Leary again. Are you familiar with Mr. Holmes over in Skyline? Stanley Holmes? So
I'm in single family home, so no.
He's a community member over there, and he probably calls me once a week with any concerns, any issues in that area. My email is in the chat. If you want to go ahead and write that down, you can contact me at any time with any concerns, and I'll make sure that they're handled.
I called the number I was given because I stopped 2 police, one Morningside and one PG County, and they were really nice. They gave me a number to call, and when I was told, I got passed through different people, and I actually spoke to a person who tried to tell me that I didn't live where I lived. Because I was like, okay, I know where I live, and I was trying to tell him that, okay, it's near 495. When you come out our development and you make a right, you blink and you're at 495, and he was trying to tell me that Suitland Road did not run all the way down to Allentown Road.
Well, I apologize. I'm not sure who you spoke to, but Skyline is part of the Oxnard Police District. So you have my email, and please give me an email and with any concerns in that area. And I can also put you in touch. So we have community officers. Corporal McLaughlin is on the call, but she doesn't handle every area within Oxon Hills. So you can email me. I can put you in touch. Corporal Tussaud is the community officer for your area. I can put you in direct contact with him.
Okay.
And Major O'Leary, this is Carla. Her area, she's not handled by Skyline, by Mr. Holmes. They have a different association up there. So I do know she's not Stan Holmes community. They're right there by the barbecue place.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We ask everybody, even if you're on your phone, to please mute yourself because we're having a lot of background noise, please. Thank you.
And thank you, Carla Cash. I just want to point out, Carla Cash is my constituent services director for District 8, and she does a phenomenal job. We really pride ourselves on being responsive quickly to whatever issues you're having in your community. So I don't want any delay in getting to us, whatever it is that you need help with. Ms. Vaughn, I want to speak with you further about what your challenges are and what we can do to address those. I'm assuming you have spoken with Ms. Cash. I will say this, Ms. Cash she sees and hears everything somehow. And she works out a whole lot for a whole lot of people. In fact, we really prided ourselves on issues that have been ongoing for 6 years or more, getting those wrapped up with environmental challenges, with flooding in particular, with feeding people, with feeding our community, trying to deal with some of the insecurities that we know people have, food insecurities, as well as housing insecurities and health insecurities. So I do want to say that our office is here to help on many levels. So don't hesitate. We're with you ground level, we're county. Delegate Jay Walker is anything that's state level. But we felt it would be a great idea to speak together so you have an idea of what state handles and then what county handles. Generally, it's the state that gets the money to us so that we can then implement. But safety is first and foremost, and cleanliness. Some of the objectives you will hear about a little bit later, and we kind of want to get through the slides, will indicate the initiatives that are being put forward in our partnerships with DPW&T for beautification and for streetscape changes. What we're looking to do specifically, and this is actually state related, and I'm very excited to say that I have Andre Futrell from State Highway Administration on, and I'll let him speak to some of it's probably out of order, but I think it may be a good time for him to come in and speak to some of the gateway cleaning that we're looking to do, specifically inside the Beltway on 210, which would be that Forest Heights Glass Manor area that we have focused funds on for beautification through the MGM fund, a portion of which goes to 210, and beautification on 210, as well as the what you've seen with overpasses on 210 as well. If you are ready to speak, Mr. Futrell, I would love to have you talk about some of the initiatives that are underway now. If you can unmute. All right, we'll move on to the.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Perfect. Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I wanted to say I'm very happy to be here in support of District 8. From a Maryland Department Transportation State Highway, we certainly recognize the need for enhancements within the area of Oxon Hill 210, Maryland 414, Maryland 337, and certainly we're trying to employ some extra resources to help us address this issue from my perspective that has been a concern for some time now. Certainly we recognize that the need to make sure the grass is cut, trimmed, and the trash is picked, clean, more on a routine basis. But I must admit, it seems like every time we do a sweep, and a week later, it's almost like we haven't even been there. But however, that's not to actually discourage us. That just highlights the need us to employ additional resources so we can increase how often we pick trash, cut grass, and so forth within that area, really. To help us with that, we are trying to pinpoint some areas that we can do some landscaping, and hopefully that will help with the grass, the trimming, and hopefully we can keep the trash out of there. But however, we believe we're going to have some concepts developed by the 6 of next month, we're going to be sharing it with Walker and her team, and we're going to be trying to somewhat enhance the appearance of Oxon Hill, District 8, so that it can certainly, hopefully change the culture. So when folks recognize and see some things being done, hopefully they will play a part and try to do what they can do to keep it like that. So we're trying to work very hard in trying to concept how that will look, and we will. I believe we have a date and plan to meet. I believe it's July the 14th, if I'm accurate. But during that meeting, we're going to unveil the concepts from a landscaping perspective, where that we're going to try to lock in certain areas where that we feel that the landscaping would enhance or improve certain appearances within the District 8. And I am very, very happy because it is long overdue, because when they throw out trash, we pick it up. I think this goes to the next step by saying we're going to try to enhance the appearance, which hopefully the actual community will recognize it and again play their part and try to make sure they help to keep it like that. So we very hopeful that that will happen. But in the meantime, we are working hand in hand with the county, and we are doing things as in the mowing, the trimming, graffiti removal, trying to clean out the inlets, and trying to trim the brush in areas where that it just grown out too far, actually. So we are definitely trying to work with the county collectively and trying to kind of improve the actually grass, the trimming, the trash, graffiti, the inlets cleaning, and so forth. And right now, I am very, very happy to say we are on the second round, and we certainly are going to try to increase the actual frequency so that we can do a sweep a lot often than we have been. So I'm just hopeful that this spirit, that this effort, the resource sharing, will go will certainly go a actual long way.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Futrell. I appreciate that. I do want to say that the partnership with DPW and T exists as well. You should be seeing a lot more beautification in the community, including marquee signs at elementary, middle, and high schools being changed to the electronic marquee. And that's for various reasons. Obviously, it's a more modern look, but it's also a way to get information to people in the community. Even if they're not going specifically to school, people in the community can get alerts as to what's going on and maybe emergent issues that they should be aware of. So we're happy to make that part of the beautification. Were you trying to say something? I heard.
No, but I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
I was saying yes. I agree with you. I'm sorry.
Also, Oxon Hill Road, that state area road, which is right around Rivertown. We are looking to focus, and we've been in conversations with the Secretary of Transportation for the state of Maryland to focus on a big investment so that those sidewalks have a more modern look and an upscaled look, because we believe that's the first step and catalyst to great redevelopment of Oxon Hill Road and Allentown Road. Those are two major areas that we're wanting to make into residential corridors that people are excited to be in with entertainment, but also business corridors, so that we can have ancillary businesses to work with other parts of the county. So we're looking at connectivity within other parts of the county, but also with Amazon, that's 6 miles from National Harbor. We believe we're the closest point in Prince George's County to that opportunity, and we want ancillary businesses to land here on this side. we want to get the benefit, the wealth benefit of value add with that. And we know it starts with that streetscape, the whole look and cleanliness and really making an effort to modernize. That's a huge investment, but it's something that's in the works as well. If we go to the next slide and get back in order, please. Thank you, Demetrius. So is this the circulator? Is that the next one? So remember that song, It's Time for the Percolator. It's time, well, I feel like this with the circulator. It's time for the circulator. The whole purpose of the circulator is to bring in our senior apartments and making them a little less isolated by including a free circulator bus system that would come 2 days a week, pick them up and, 3 days a week, pick them up and take them to various hot spots to go shopping, to go for entertainment, to go to doctor's appointments, to go to the library, to go work out. Right now, in our conversations with those people living at some of our senior apartments, they do feel very isolated, and if they don't drive, transportation is a big challenge. So we're looking forward to that kicking off on July 6th. Very excited about that. This gives you a little information about what the circulator is. It's an initiative out of District 8 office. We use funding from the Rosecroft Fund to initiate this actually a year plus ago. It was supposed to kick off on March 16th, 2020, but guess what? That's when everything shut down for COVID. So we're looking forward to introducing these loops. In the next slide, it should show you a little bit of, with regard to location, but it'll pick up from Trinity Terrace. Let's go to the previous slide, please. Okay, Trinity Terrace, Woodside Village, Ms. Philippine's house, and this will go to the Southern Regional Tech Sports Complex, Rivertown Commons, Tanger Outlets, and MGM. The second loop, Loop B, is from Fort Washington Manor, Fort Washington Adventist, and Chestnut Oaks. And that'll go to Old Fort Shopping Center, Southern Region Tech Sports Complex, Tanger Outlets, and MGM. Again, these loops will be in continuous movement to circulate our seniors throughout. We also have the benefit working with DPW&T for kind of a last mile transportation for people who maybe are using public transportation, but they really need that last mile to connect to get home. So we're very excited about that partnership. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone, I don't think, from DPW&T. If we do, please make yourself known. I know we had spoken earlier today with Martin Harris and thought he might be able to join. But if there are any questions, please put that in the chat. Let's get to the next slide, please. We do have some legislation which I think you may want to know about, and that is supporting the county executive and director and assisting appropriate agencies to investigate whether any actions taken by public servants resulting in the January 6th insurrection, whether there was any guilt in involvement in that. We did have a resolution that was adopted to support the county executive in any action she chooses to take in form of punishment for those who work for this county who participated in that insurrection. We also have adopted CR 29/2021, and this requests the county to commence a countywide flooding assessment and mapping study performed by the United States Army Corps of Engineers. The hope is that this will address countywide flooding, but specifically, we're interested in seeing how the southern part of the county can mitigate some of the challenges that we do have. As you can imagine, with the topography, we're the lowest point before you dump off into the Potomac River. So groundwater flows this direction, and as well as floodwaters that are above ground because of concrete and impervious surface like streets that are put in. So the water rolls as opposed to percolating down into the soil. So we're looking at solutions so that your home values can remain the same. So you don't have destruction of property as a result of upstream challenges. I do want to also mention that we do have a bill for tax credit for disabled veterans, which is CB 10/2021, and that is still in committee. We're looking to establish a property tax credit for disabled veterans, specifically those that are 75% to 100%, 75% to 99% disabled. We already have one in place for people who are 100% disabled. And we think that it's a fair bill, and we're looking forward to really getting it to move forward. I do want to also mention that we have CB 25 2021 that's in committee, and that provides a different ordinance for any development in floodplains. Now, I don't know if you know what a floodplain is, but it's an area by definition that tends to flood. So when one builds in a floodplain, you might hear a civil engineer say, we're going to take it out of the floodplain. That doesn't mean you eliminate the floodplain. It means you just maybe raise it 2 feet by filling it in, maybe 5 feet, who knows? But what happens is it pushes that floodwater somewhere. In an ideal situation, all of that would be mitigated on the site where the development is taking place. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. And as a result, you see downstream flooding that results in houses that are falling off of slope failures, and sinkholes, and flooding of homes. And we think this is unfair. So while we think development is smart, it needs to occur, we want to make sure that it's done in a thoughtful way, and in a way that is not adversely impactful to anybody's lifestyle. Certainly not their home values. Lastly, we have CB 26 2021. This is in committee, and this is a universal design and visitability design for housing. The purpose of this is ensuring safe, sustainable, and inclusive living in one's home so that you have maximum functionality. No matter whether you are pushing a stroller and you just need that 0 entry to get into your front door, whether you have packages in your hand and you need that lever as opposed to turning a knob. But these features with no thresholds in the home, so that if one is in a wheelchair or whatever their situation might be, they have all their key function areas on one level. This isn't anything that's going to cost any more for the builder. It's just a very thoughtful way of moving forward with design and making this part of the design standard. And we hope we get your support for this. We can move on to the next slide. About Patton spoke already, but about a month or so ago, we rode the Henson Valley trails, and they are beautiful, absolutely breathtaking. But we recognize that there's some challenges with flooding as a result of flooding that we want to look at. As a result, I asked for, I think, $4 million to go towards bike trails. And of that, I think we have 1 million that's actually going. We can move on to the next. We talked about the school marquees that have that were completed. And we also have covered bus shelters that will also have a marquee display on them as well. Those were to have been completed in June, but apparently there was some issue with the contractor. Hopefully we'll get that. But we're looking to really get these beautification projects moving swiftly, and establishing a look and feel so that people in the community don't want to litter. In fact, they want to pick it up because they want to keep the beautification there in place. Can we move on to the next slide, please? We did touch on some of these issues, so I'm not going to go over them again. We can go to the next slide. Working with students, and I do want to have Andre Futrell speak on this, but or the next discussion point. We do have a STEAM drone program with a Global Air Drone Academy that was implemented 2 weeks ago. And this pilot workshop is being held at Oxon Hill High School. We have a little over 50 students that are participating. And the ages range from elementary, middle, and high school. And these are students who live within a 5-mile radius of Rosecroft. And these funds are Rosecroft funds. This was implemented for a couple of reasons. We're looking at not only getting students excited about STEAM jobs and starting very young, so elementary school, but also looking at how we can plug them into jobs and into getting certain clearances while they're still in high school, and licensed as well as still in high school, so that they can monetize what they know before they even graduate from high school. So we're looking at the entrepreneurial application of learning about drones. We do have a partnership with the intelligence community. The IC, there's about 17 different branches of that, you know, Office of Naval Intelligence, you've got NSA, CIA, on and on and on. But the significance of this is that these kids are so engaged. They're so engaged. This program is life-changing, and it actually gives direction, passion, and gives skills that once they have, they'll never lose, and it takes them in a path, in a direction. So we're really looking forward to that. On another note, we have State Highway Administration that will be partnering with District 8 to implement a similar engineering program with bridges. And did you want to speak to that at all, Mr. Futrell?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much for that. But can everyone hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Yes, the Maryland State Highway is sponsoring, promoting a track program where that we want to target the middle school. We are working with the Council Walker office, trying to pick which one, but the track program is funded. And what it is that we will have folks from the track program come to the school system, train the teachers that will train the kids on basic engineering skills. They will be working with them on how to do a basic bridge design, construction of it using materials that we will ultimately provide. The hopes is that they will gain some knowledge, some understanding what engineering is, and hopefully we could attract them to one day when they are done with veteran school, that they may choose or consider engineering as a field. But this has been done and it has been very successful. And we felt that a good place to somewhat to sponsor it is in the District 8. And we feel with the school system down there, we can certainly find one school that will support it and work with us trying to bring the track program into that school. And again, it's actually funded. They will provide the staffing to train, materials to build, and materials to learn from. And the spirit of it is that we feel that we need to invest in the youth and the kids and to provide them somewhat of a concept or an outlook exactly what is actually engineering. And we feel that they will be inspired, they would be actually interested in it, and hopefully one day they may even become actual engineers. And it has been very, very successful. And I am so hopeful, optimistic that it's going to do some great things down there as well. And again, it is about investing into our youth, trying to help them to attain some skills, give them an idea exactly what is actually engineering. And if they believe that it's something that they like or interests them, then hopefully as they go through school and then college, they will certainly look at this as an option. So again, we're looking to having this to move forward by this fall. So if everything goes well, we hope to actually provide and introduce the track to program in PG County.
Excellent. So we'll try to get that. We'll give you a heads up when that's available too. We will be continuing this STEAM drone program where students are building their own drones, programming the drones, flying their drones, and working towards pilot licenses and other wonderful things. Anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Futrell, and thank you to Global Air Drone Academy for the partnership. For interest in future camps, you can reach out to Demetrius Keller, who's in my office, and we'd be happy to see what we can do to help your children get in to these tracks. Can we get to the next slide, please? I know there are a lot of questions. I just kind of want to get through the slide. I do want to say that in this process, we started working nearly 3 years ago with Major General Ricky Rupp, who's a base commander at Joint Base Andrews. And he started this process with us. And we've actually, if you go to the next, he'll be leaving, by the way, in July. But we have continued this process with Colonel Tyler Schaaf, who's a 316th Wing Commander. Really looking forward to getting, continuing this and having some, I guess what you would call counter drone measures that are workshops through Joint Base Andrews. So while we build the drones, the base will show us the counter drone measures so that our drone engineers can learn how to do a better job of building the perfect drone. Anyway, next slide, please. All right, we talked about this a little bit. There's a Henson Creek update. I'm gonna leave this slide with you. In fact, we're gonna put all these in the chat. I don't know if I have to actually answer any questions regarding these. We should have a full report. Do we have Chidi on now?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, Chidi, you want to speak maybe for about 2 or 3 minutes on
Okay.
Henson Creek update? Thank you.
All right. Good evening. My name is Chidi Miozulu from the Prince George's County Planning Department. I'm the project manager of the Henson Creek Village Study Area, which is a study that seeks for ways to implement the master plan recommendation. Something's coming. I start my audio. Okay.
Start your video, Chidi. Thank you.
All right. As the master plan recommendation for pedestrian-friendly mixed-use development in the study area, as well as strategies to control flooding in the general area. So at the last meeting in March 31st, 2021, the consultants presented the final strategies and recommendations to the community. The consultants completed the report and submitted to planning staff. And the PowerPoint that was presented at that time contains all the substantive information as the 2 technical consultant reports. There will be no change made to the PowerPoints anyway. Due to the technical nature of those reports, planning staff is finalizing an executive summary that highlights the essence of the report, including recommendations for a layperson to understand. So the planning supervisor and the community planning division chief will review the comments and comment on the document. After they have signed off, it goes to the publication specialist for final editing and formatting, ensuring that images and maps in the documents meet the publication standards. The publication specialist then sends the entire document that includes the executive summary and the consultant's report to the planning director for final review and sign off. Once the director signs off, it goes to the planning board for approval and transmittal to the county council, probably in September, depending on their caseload after the August recess. So basically, we've been working on it, and the PowerPoint contains basically everything else that I think everybody should know about it. And if you all want to continue to start now, there is enough information to just kind of get together and start planning ahead before the report is produced.
Thank you, Chief.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that. I know we talked about the kind of a new look for the roadway there to actually look at engineering new sidewalk and a new road first before development has been completed, so that it kind of sets the tone for what does come into the area. And we look forward to having that document sometime soon so we can share it with the community. So thank you so much. Stay with us just in case some questions pop up. I want to get to the last couple slides quickly and then get to the questions. I just feel like I have to summarize what we've been doing so that you know. The Southern area K through 8, this is a hot subject. Tomorrow is the groundbreaking for the school. We've had many discussions with regard to this location. We have asked for there to be a review and another study completed based on new information of flooding patterns, using updated measurements as opposed to what we had been for the last 40 or so years, which is relegated to a 100-year flood. We know now a 100-year flood is 6.2 inches in 24 hours. What we're getting these days is what we call a rain bomb, which is more like 6.2 inches of rain in 4.5 hours. So the difference is the horizon, long horizon, 24 hours for that amount of range, or the very short bursts. The difference in that is the way that the flooding occurs and the mechanisms that are in place to mitigate flooding. You know, so that is one of the challenges. The ask was not to avoid building a school. I think we all recognize that we want to have a school, but we want there to be one community involvement in the process, and it doesn't appear that there was one. At least the immediate community wasn't aware of this school coming in. We were told by the school board that they wrote letters to the parents of students who were at Potomac Landing. Well, I don't know if that's enough. It doesn't appear that was enough. So this is the process that we're in. For my part as a council member, I've done what I can. It is the school board that we really need to put pressure on. But more than that, if this is indeed going to move forward, we want to make sure that those infrastructure pieces are put in place well before any trees are taken down, because that's dangerous. To eliminate 29 acres of trees, and I'm estimating that acres of trees, takes away the filtration, the opportunity to suck up water. That area is swamp. So it's just doesn't seem like a wise thing to do when standards of looking at engineering, stormwater management are based on old measurements. So that's my thoughts with regard to that. I'm sure there are a lot of questions. School board has total control of this moving forward. All right, I do want to mention that we are so excited about a new Safeway. It's not a brand new Safeway, but a refurbished Safeway in Oxon Hill. In fact, in Rivertown, had an opportunity to go there, and for their new ribbon cutting, they have 9,000 new food items, extremely organized. The lighting is spectacular. It even has nice, relaxing music as you go through. But there's so much pride by the leadership with Safeway, and so much engagement with the community, which you know I love, especially when you juxtapose it to other grocery stores who just think they have us and they don't have to engage. I'm very, very excited about what Safeway is doing, and we're looking forward to them going to other locations and beautifying those stores and speaking to the people. So we're happy to say that they have a plant-based section over there. They also have a more expanded organics section. Their meat section, seafood section is just spectacular. So very excited about being a part of that. Excited that Safeway is a phenomenal community partner. Go there, please. I do also want to speak to the Southern Regional Aquatic Wellness Center. This place is absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful, it's functional, and we needed it. It's even designed in a universal way. So no matter what your challenges might be in mobility, you can get into this pool and you can get out of this pool without any challenges, without any issues. Very well thought out. This was the brainchild and the baby, I will say, of the state delegates as well as the council member who preceded me. And I just want to make sure that that I give them certainly their props as well. So Obie Patterson was my predecessor, and he was very excited about getting this going, and I'm very excited that he did. It's glad to have it come to fruition during my time. Next slide, please. Very excited also to mention that we have an annual conference, the first of its kind here, the National Association of Counties, which will be taking place July 9th through 12th. This is important because we have the eyes of the nation, literally here, leaders of the nation coming here. So we have been working closely with DPI. We've been working closely with DPW&T to clean up in the corridors and areas, because we know that people will be driving off the site of National Harbor, and we want them to see all of the beauty that is here. And we want to put our best foot forward. Anyway, we'll be hosting a kickoff event, District 8, since it's in District 8, on July 9th. And we're happy to have our wonderful leadership participating in this as well. Our county executive, of course, and they're our chair of our council. So Angela also Brooks, our county executive, and council chair Hawkins will also be kicking this off. We're excited about a wellness track and opening to really highlight the beauty of our community, our award-winning trails, our award-winning parks and recs, like the pool I just showed you, and the hockey rink, which you haven't seen yet, which will be opening up in July. There's so much that this county has to offer, and certainly District 8. And we're looking forward to making sure we shine a light on all that we are. Again, we are the gateway. We are the global gateway. You know, when dignitaries fly into this country, they fly into Prince George's County. And you might ask, well, how is that? Well, they fly into Joint Base Andrews, and Joint Base Andrews is in Prince George's County, and specifically District 8. So we are the global gateway. All right, next slide. Oh, very excited too. Summer concert series, which will be kicking off July 1st. And this is at National Harbor as well. We have two of our very well-known Prince Georgians who are taking the lead on this, Kevin Howard and his lovely wife, Lisa. And we look forward to having you all participate too in this jazz series. We're hoping that this will be one of those destination events, much like the Hampton Jazz Fest. We want people to come to Prince George's County for this Jazz Fest summer series. Next slide, please.
Kevin Alexander and Lisa, and Kevin Howard is the first show where you'll be giving the welcoming remarks.
I will.
Right?
I will be giving the open on July 1st. So looking forward to seeing you all there. And I think I might have said Kevin Howard. I meant Kevin Alexander. Forgive me, and Lisa Alexander. But next slide. This is also something of interest. Pepco reached out to us about a battery storage facility that they're interested in putting here. Now, this has not been implemented anywhere in Maryland, but this was something that the state passed, allowing a battery storage facility to be placed in Prince George's in a location also in Montgomery County. There are some concerns with this, and I want to make you all aware of this. Please reach out to my office. In fact, please, Maurice, if you could put information in the chat about the next citizen advisory group meetings so that citizens can participate in this. What we've learned is that the lithium ion batteries, which would be stored here, do not respond to water. So if there is a huge fire, that fire is going to burn intensely, and it's going to burn intensely until it's burnt out. Water does not put out ion lithium fires. That's a concern because this area, which is on Livingston Road, backs up to a school, which is Oxon Hill High School, but also backs up to a community where people's homes are. And when fires burn, they don't burn in just their typical location. The wind blows and those fumes move, and there's an affect to that. We want to make sure that anything that moves forward here is that there's been consideration to it. And it's preferred to see that it's actually been implemented somewhere successfully. We don't want to be the first to get this experience and it not be a good one. I do want to bring it to your attention. That's why I'm bringing it up today. Can we get to the next slide, please? Okay, we can move on to the next slide. There was a ransomware attack, WSSC. Well, I want to thank you for joining, but I know there are a lot of questions, so let me just get to the chat. Just wanted to get through that just in case that answered some people's questions. And Gina Maurice, can you just call out some questions, please, that you think are, hopefully you've been following the chat.
Oh, battery storage. I don't know if Tammy Watkins is on, and we want to give her opportunity. Tammy, are you with us? And have some of the constituents maybe that went to the site tour.
Hi, yes, this is Tammy Watkins with PEPCO, and I'll speak real briefly because I know I don't have a whole lot of time. But yes, we have been engaged with District 8 and the council member's office, and I see some folks who are members of our community advisory group on the call today. So yes, we have been very engaged with the community, and we are well aware of the concerns that the council member has referred to in her introduction. This battery storage facility is planned for our Livingston Road substation. It's an existing facility on Livingston Road in the Oxon Hill area. It's a 1 megawatt battery, small battery compared to other batteries in other locations. But we have been engaged with the community throughout this process. The next community advisory meeting will be the 3rd Friday in July, which I believe is the 16th, but we'll make sure that we work with the council member's office to get information out to folks. We're also working with the South Lawn Civic Association, and we'll be participating in a community meeting there to talk about battery storage. And we are certainly open and welcome to questions, comments, concerns from the community. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to follow up and address those comments and concerns. And I'll be putting my email in the chat for anyone here this evening.
And thank you, Tammy Watkins, for engaging the community in discussion about this and addressing our concerns too. Thank you.
Council member, there's a question in the chat about homeless people and removing them from the medians. I am so sorry. Let me mute this. I'm sorry.
Dog, he's a barker for sure. Does any of our constituents want to talk about the PEPCO site visit that they went on? I know Ron Weiss is on. Does anyone want to get some feedback on that?
Yeah, I can talk about it. It was very interesting to walk the site and to see how close this battery is going to be to homes. You know, I think that the feeling is, you know, where this storage facility is there to delay the need for a second substation to support National Harbor. The second substation will be just outside of National Harbor. The battery to delay that substation is outside of National Harbor. So the folks in National Harbor are benefiting from these facilities that are not in their backyard. And the people where the facilities are will have to take the risk of inhaling fumes from a burning lithium ion storage facility. Or being next to a ungainly substation. And it's just not, it doesn't seem equitable to the folks who are impacted by these sites.
Thank you, Ron. Did anyone else want to speak on the tour? I know there was some other constituents that was on that site tour along with them.
This is Zeno St. Cyr II. I just want to chime in to supplement to what Ron just shared with everyone. Public safety is a huge concern by the community members, also by the councilwoman's office. I will say that PEPCO has heard some of those concerns and have done their best to try to address them and allay some of the concerns that folks have about safety issues. I also I think would be remiss if I didn't add that a huge concern is exactly what Ron said, that the battery storage facility is being done primarily for National Harbor. But based on what we've been told, that there will be a benefit to the residents of our community as well from the battery storage facility. So I think that there'll need to be more done by PEPCO to address both of those two concerns, to allay the concerns that the community has on those two areas.
Are there any other questions related to the PEPCO?
Yes, I have a question. Herb Jones.
Yes.
Just very quickly, good evening to everyone. My question regarding the battery storage, and I concur with Ron and his concern in terms of safety, et cetera, but more so goes to how battery storage facilities are treated on a pilot basis in terms of the cost recovery. Historically, with a pilot program, the residential ratepayers pay a share as well as the shareholders because it's a pilot basis. So my question would be, how long is this pilot? This is a pilot battery storage program, right? To see how it works, then implement it full scale. My point, it has to be equity in that sharing of the cost. And that cost should be borne to a certain degree by the PEPCO shareholders and the other half by the ratepayers who are going to benefit. Thank you.
All right, I do see that there's a hand raised here. Pat Doughton, I think, has a hand raised. If she's still available to speak.
Yes, ma'am, I am available. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to comment about the trash in Prince George's County to the gentleman that spoke earlier. I'm really excited to know that the trash is being cleaned up in Prince George's County. Because I go through counties and I see the beautification and no trash at all on the street. And then I come back home, I live in Fort Washington. I come back home and our neighborhood, our street doesn't get cleaned. Or you can go down to Tantillion South, I think it is, and their streets are really beautifully clean. But then when you come back up closer towards 210, those areas are missed. So I was excited to hear that is being done. And I just wanted to be sure it is going to be at 210 Fort Washington area as well.
I do want to also mention that my office has been working closely with DPI. And as of last week, when I received an update, there were 80 citations that were given specifically on work vehicles parked in residential areas. I mention this because I have seen dump trucks parked in the back of homes. And not because they're there temporarily to complete a job, because the people who live there own the truck and that's their business, but that's not appropriate. The other part of that is, dump trucks by their nature dump trash. We can make that assumption. So if I'm a dump truck owner, I might pay my tipping fee to dump somewhere, but I may not. I might get paid to pick up trash and on my way home dump it somewhere because I can do that and then go home. So what I have been working with DPI on is enforcement of what kind of vehicles can even come into residential areas and eliminating them and fining them, so that I believe there's a correlation with these types of vehicles in residential neighborhoods and trash in these neighborhoods. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I will be honest with you, a lot of what we are seeing right now being implemented is probably because we have a huge national convention coming. And I think there is a little bit more desire to represent well. We should always have this desire, let me say that, but I think that there's a sense of urgency that had not been there for some reason. But let's take advantage of this. You know, while we have this, let's get it straight and make sure we keep our foot on the gas pedal. If you in your neighborhood see work trucks, vehicles, they're not supposed to be there. That's not where those are supposed to be parked. You dial 311 and make sure your neighborhood stays clean.
Absolutely.
This is all of our duty. This is not just one person or a staff to do. But I do want to let you know that this is a partnership with DPI, and DPW&T has done a tremendous job of focusing on cleanup, pulling weeds, and you'll see more and more of this as we approach July 9th. But pay attention. This is something that we're really looking to continue, and we might have to get out there ourselves and pull some stuff. I mean, it's our neighborhoods. We've got to play a part in this process as well.
Hey, Monique, if I can.
I wanted to suggest that maybe we could use the concept of the neighborhood watch program that they had in communities a long time ago, especially the ladies that spoke earlier that said they go out there and pick up the trash. They would be excellent leaders for neighborhood watch. And you're right, we all have to do it together.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is ours.
If I could, Monique, I would say the importance of, we represent you all. You know, we're your voice there. Hear from you all. You know, there's an instance where they had 18 wheelers parking along the site. They found a little side street to park along on 210, right by the YMCA and the Sun Trust. There were 5 or 6 of them. And, you know, we kind of didn't pay much attention to it. Then we were at a community association meeting. They brought it to our attention, and then we held law enforcement accountable. And I haven't seen an 18-wheeler there in a long time, which is good. So things like that, you know, I want to say, when you see something, say something, reach out to us. Monique just said, you see those cars that are illegally, or you have a suspicion they shouldn't be work cars in the residential neighborhoods, reach out to our office and we can get in touch with the proper people to see that everything's on the up and up. And
absolutely, I will.
I'm hearing from a lot of people. I think this is why we do these forums. We probably need to, you know, Monique's office did a great job with the Driving at Home campaign, talking about driving. We need to change the culture. I mean, let's be honest. We need to change the culture of littering in our county, you know, because if folks didn't litter, we wouldn't have all this trash. So maybe, you know, and that's the tough part as a leader. We have, like, most folks say, okay, well, if you start enforcing the littering fine, well, I got no whole different folks that'll say, oh, we don't want less interaction with police, law enforcement, the better. The fine. And it's like, oh, why are you trying to hit them in their pockets and stuff? But maybe we got to, you know, do a campaign out there to say, hey, this is our county. I know countywide we've done it, but down here in Southern Prince George County, where we live and work and play, we need to get a hold on this one. I'm glad to hear from everybody that you all are saying something about it. And my wife, she loves beautiful things all over the place, particularly plants and trees everywhere. So I look forward to coming back with an update on what we can do.
Well, Delegate Walker, this is Kalila Denny from the Denny House. I'd like to just commend you, you and your wife, for your efforts in beautification in the community. And we have someone who just mentioned in the chat about getting our kids out to do community service hours and do community cleanups. You know, that's one of the Denny House's main focuses, is getting our kids engaged. I think that's how we start to begin to change the culture. When you start with the youth and getting them engaged in that, they take that attitude home. They take that experience home, and they begin to be the police of those around them and say, hey, you know, I had an experience and I cleaned up. I'm not trying to clean up after you. So that begins to start that conversation at home. So anybody looking to do a community cleanup in their area, whether it's a civic association or a HOA, please reach out to us. We would love to connect with you all and coordinate something of that nature with the youth who are directly impacted in your community. And that wasn't what I wanted to say, but because it came up, I wanted to make sure I just addressed that. My question actually is to the gentleman from the state. Again, the Denny House is 100% engaged in beautification in Southern Prince George's County. We want to know how we can become a partner of the state to support your beautification efforts. And when I say partnership, a financial partnership that allows us to pay our students that we have, to pay our returning citizens that we engage employment in, to begin help cleaning up our community. How can we partner with the state office? Do you have any opportunities available right now? Could you please speak on that?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Yes, what we currently have is the Adopt a Highway program. We kind of give you the support. We provide the bags, pickers, and the route. Unfortunately, we don't have a provision on how to finance it financially, but we can certainly work with you on the Adopt a Highway program, where we will highlight a route on the state road, and we will provide you with bags, pickers, and so forth like that. And we will also provide you with actually the traffic control that will help you as well. But certainly, this is an all hands on deck. I'll be frank with you. I had sent a team down to pick trash, and within a week, you could hardly even tell that we have been there. What we're starting to do now is take some pictures before and after, because the scene of folks that called about the trash called back and said, "Hey, you guys haven't picked trash yet." And we will show them the picture of before and after. Then they realize that this is a serious issue with litter. And I believe that we shouldn't get discouraged, but we should look at what more can we do to push the point home that we want to keep the actual roadway, communities, litter free. And we are open for any type of help or support that we can get. But right now, what program we have that you may like or so, is the Adopt a Highway program. And you can
Andre,
certainly contact me directly.
Andre, let me ask you this, Delegate Walker.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm fine. You said there's no money behind it.
Well, we cannot financially pay a group to pick trash.
We are a contractor. We're a contractor we are a contractor for the state. So it's not necessarily.
I'm sorry. You know, if you happen to be a contractor and you bid and you were selected because you was the lowest bidder, we can financially pay you as a contractor, but there's a procurement process with that.
Correct. So that does answer the question. We just wanted to know if there were any opportunities currently and how we can get engaged in the work that you're doing right now. So we'll start there.
I can tell you this. If you constantly look on email and the marketplace, there's constantly contracts that's been advertised. And certainly we want to get people to bid on them, to contractors who happen to live in the area. Because I have found and learned that when you have a contractor that comes from the area that they're choosing to work in, the bid prices come in a bit lower.
If I can add something on this one, with Andre, you may know about this or may not. I'm assuming you would be. With the stormwater management bill that we passed, with those, a lot of that had to do with the maintenance of those green areas on state highways and roads like that. Aren't there dollars in there? Or is that including the procurement contract?
No, that is a different office. That is the Office of the Environmental Design. I would have to talk with them to get an idea of how that was done and where that is at and what plans they may have.
Okay, let's, Ms. Denny, follow up with my office a little bit and we can put a call into them and see. I believe there was something there. I know when you heard it, although it was a commercial that was just a lie, blatant lie. They talked about a rain tax. We're going to tax the rain. We weren't taxing the rain. It was a federal mandate that said you had to do something with stormwater runoff. But in that, Prince George was one of the counties where we were going to turn that federal mandate into something profitable for the county with jobs and creating some jobs and things of that nature. So let's follow up
Will do. Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Ms. Denny, because you do wonderful work in the community. You're District 8 base, very excited about
Yes,
you
ma'am.
and who you hire. You know, you are changing lives. You are giving people a second chance. And you're beautifying, which I love. We will talk certainly more. I will just tell people for their knowledge that we are in a process where we're attempting to work with Denny House to provide community gardens in what will be 20 different locations in District 8. And we're doing this through, we've asked to have this done as part of food security using the Rosecroft funds. And that's for safety. Food safety is critical. That's not, the final decision will be from the county executive to okay it. But we're very excited about the potential here because we have learned during COVID that food insecurity is something that has existed. It just became highlighted, and we just want to make sure we can address these. Moving forward, because we're really at the 2-hour mark, but I do want to say zoning rewrite is critical. You will be hearing zoning rewrite, and all the great things about zoning rewrite. What you need to know is that there are some impacts to your property as a result of, and your community as a result of what could happen once the countywide map amendment is moved forward. Right now, townhouse development is limited, but in the zoning rewrite, it is expanded. Some of that might be good if the development is in what we call infill redevelopment, where you're not getting rid of trees in order to sprawl more. You know, and this you see more compact areas that are already impervious, which means you're not creating any more impervious surface. The capacity, water capacity is already there. The infrastructure is already in place, and that's okay, maybe, if the community wants that. But if they don't, then it's a problem. What this will allow is for by right development to occur without anyone having to come to the community. And I think it does weaken the community's voice, and you need to be aware of these. The other thing that my office has noted as we review this zoning rewrite is that more self-storage facilities that currently are very limited will be by right, and they'll be by right in parts of the community that are that could be better used for economic development. Warehousing goes into that as well. So that will be probably another discussion, but this needs to be on your radar, the zoning rewrite, the zoning rewrite, the zoning rewrite. It is not necessarily an apples to apples. So we're just condensing these zones because we have too many. We want to make them simplified. There's much more going on in this than that, and you need to be aware of it, and you need to have your voice heard. We will likely have some review, a preliminary review in September. By then, I'm hoping that we would have had maybe a couple of more sessions to educate you on what the zoning rewrite is and what the impacts might be, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think that we should have all of it. And what's good, bad, and ugly to me may not be good, bad, ugly to you. We just want to bring the facts out so that you know what could likely happen in your community. All right, if there's maybe 2 more questions, I think we can try to answer those. And I like this, Dexter Bordes. How about posting a $500 fine for littering and have it strictly enforced? We have put those kind of signs up. The challenge is the enforcement. You know, who is watching? We were told that there are these cameras that are around the county that they won't tell us where those cameras are, but they're looking to see where people are dumping. We need something a little bit more reliable. So I'm with you on the fines, but first and foremost, get the beautification in place. And I think that mentally that gets people in a mindset of, oh, I don't want to mess with this. This is beautiful. But let's get it beautiful and figure out how to do that. And let's also address some of the frustrations maybe that people are dealing with, and access to litter receptacles. There aren't trash cans. You know, we've actually looked at locations that don't have trash cans. So we would want to invest in putting trash and recycle cans in locations so that people actually have access to them. So there's no need to litter. The other thought is to have a second pickup day for trash so that the accumulation of one's house trash doesn't become scattered around because they leave it outside and it blows around in the wind. Let's get a second day of trash collection, of true trash collection, not recycle, not food waste, yard waste. Let's have a true, a true experience here. I put a bill, an LDR, which is a draft bill, in order to get this implemented. And of course, there has to be a political desire to have this done beyond myself. The first step to this is to have a report on how much was actually saved by reducing the trash pickup from 2-day to 1 day. Was there actually any savings in this? We don't know, because the report should have come out a while ago and we haven't been able to put our hands on it. We're waiting for that. There's a 6-year horizon with the current contract that's in place that will sunset in about 1.5 years. We want to be able to have this review of what was saved or not saved and be able to, in the next 6-year contract, bring it back to 2 days a week for trash pickup.
Yes, I want my second day. Sorry. I want my second day trash pickup. Should have never took it.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
Were you finished, Monique?
That's all I have. I'm just saying, if there are any
I'll address a couple quick things I saw in the chat. Tax credits for seniors and veterans. We've been working to increase that tax credit for the veterans pension, time and time. So we're inching it up. When I first got in office, I think it was $5,000. Now we're up to almost $12,000. The first $12,000 being not taxed. So working on that. And I know the county has some senior tax credits that they do there. So I hear you on that one. And then I was going to ask, but I don't think we have. I think we could have a whole other discussion on the police reform bill that we had in Annapolis, which was a pretty big deal in dealing with policing. It's interesting seeing the comments that everybody's making there. I get it. Everybody wants public safety, but then how do you do public safety? What's the best way for public safety? Community policing seems to be the answer everybody wants, but you also got a time where it's for law enforcement, they're having a hard time hiring police officers. It's tough for them to do it. So if it's a job that not a lot of people seem to want, and then when you get those bad apples out there, they need to be held accountable. So we'll have a talk on that coming up soon. I'll see if I can get maybe some law enforcement folks on here to help us, and we can just discuss what we need to do in the community. The last thing I'm gonna add, and then between now and when I go back to session in January, need to hear from everybody about the renaming of Indian Head Highway. If you don't want to rename it, okay, but I think we're going to rename Indian Head Highway. It's overdue. So ideally, the bill I introduced was going to rename it. We're going to call it Marshall Highway, Thurgood Marshall Highway. But then started thinking, sounds good, but it's a little bit self-serving. It's Indian Head, which was a negative connotation, very disrespectful to the Native Americans. So I think we should go with Piscataway Highway to pay homage to the Piscataway tribe that was around here, who were the ones that had the Indian heads down there. So between now and then, we're all going to get together and try to meet with the senator as well to see if we can all be on the same page. We'd love to have the community support for that. And we may even have a petition. Well, there is a petition out there already. So we'll get that information out. Thank you. Didn't mean to take your time, Monique, but I know we were running over.
Oh, no, that's fine. It looks like people still have questions. Thomas, I see a hand raised, Thomas, and I can't see the last name. Thomas J.
Yeah, Thomas Edmond.
Okay.
Yes, my question is, what about renaming the Wilson Bridge?
Yes.
Which is named after Woodrow Wilson.
Yep. Well, Wilson Bridge connects Maryland and Virginia. So you got to deal with Maryland and Virginia. That's federal. So that's their federal highway. So that would be from our congressional delegation would have to handle that. But there's definitely talk about that.
Well, I did talk to one, and they told me to talk to the county and state.
Yeah. Reach out to my office, and we'll put you in touch with the folks that we've been talking to dealing with that.
Okay.
But definitely, there's definitely a move on that one too.
Thank you.
I think we do have another question. I see Ms. Sims, who has a question. I thought I saw a hand up. Maybe I didn't. Maybe.
You can reach out to, I'm going off the line there. My email again is delegatewalker@gmail.com. I think Monique's got a slide that's going to post all of her information at the end. You know, sometimes you get 2 for 1, sometimes you don't.
Well, I think we on the first slide we had your information. We'll put that slide up right now so people can get that. And while we have that slide up, I'm just going to tell you about a few things that we have asked for and we're hoping that we get because it's going to help the community. We're looking for looking to do a couple of things, utilizing the funds for Rosecroft funds, also dealing with safety issues. And that is a fund for people who've lived in their house for 25 years or longer and that are 62 years of age that are having challenges paying their mortgage. We think that having a snapshot of time when you've paid all these years and a snapshot of difficulty that you shouldn't lose everything in that short period of time. So we're looking at using some funds to allow for no more than $500 a month to go to people who are having specific issues with income and are having problems paying their mortgage as a result. We're looking to do this, again, no more than $500 a month for a period of 2 years. But what we think this will allow is for individuals who are challenged in this way to hold on to their home, to either pass it down to a family member so that wealth can go somewhere, or to sell it so that you get the equity out of your property. We just don't want anybody to be in a position where they feel forced out of their community because of a snapshot in time where they're going through challenges. We all go through challenges. And for people who've lived in their home for 25 years or more and 62 years of age, you know, they're the stalwarts of our community and we need to be there to support them. So I just want to mention that. That's something, again, that the higher ups have to okay, but this is something we put in funds for because we believe our community needs it. The other support that we are suggesting is to alleviate some of the flooding issues that people are having by allowing them to get some funds to help with flooding, exterior flooding. And this was for people who have owned their house before 2004 and have registered flooding issues, exterior flooding. So not my sump pump went out, but exterior flooding. What we see is that there are some issues of flooding that are a result of irresponsible development that's taken place next to homes that have been established. But anyway, those are a couple of things we're pushing forward on, and we'll continue to push until we can get that going. I want to wrap up there and thank you again. You can get in touch with Delegate Walker using this information right here. And if you go to the chat, you'll be able to get contacts in my office for any questions or support you need. Feel free to reach out to either or both of us. Thank you again. Stay blessed. And we look forward to the next meeting.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to I'm sorry I did this. Thank you to my staff. My staff is phenomenal. They're phenomenal. Carla Cash, thank you. Regina Anderson Ford, Maurice Gibbs, Demetrius Keller, Hugo Cantu. Thank you. And mwah, there you go.
Way to go, brother. Happy anniversary and congratulations.
All right, thank you guys. I love you. Let me know what I can do too.
Thank you for sharing your anniversary with us.
It was fun.
Bye. God bless you.
We're long enough. Take care.
Great meeting. Great meeting.
Okay. Thank you again. Night night.
Bye-bye now.
Good night, everyone.
Night. Have a good evening. Joining us.
Thank you.
I think once we mute everyone.